okay.
That's real life.
Because this is real life. We like real life.
We got your son here. We got your father here.
We have my special call out for my father.
All the way from
Brooklyn. New York. I know. What do you want? This is what he wants me to do. Well, don't say after we're live. Say before we're live. We're on live. We are live. We are 50,000 people are seeing you. Chodesh Tov Mevorach, everybody. Please, we are recording live from Efrat, Israel.
I thought you call it Efrata.
Efrata. It's in the Pesukim. We're learning Zera Shimshon. We are on Derush Bet on Parashat Tazria. We have a bunch of people that we are praying for Yeshuot. Among them are Moshe ben Yehudit Tzara. He should have a refuah shelema. He's a lone soldier, yes? And he needs our tefillot. Bat Nahama needs a zivug, bekarov. And the last one is Adina. Adina Simcha bat Rahel Miriam, who also needs a zivug, bekarov. And we want to say a special shout out for someone. A mazel tov to Stephen.
He had a grandchild.
He had a grandkid, a boy.
After dedicating it to Zera Shimshon.
That's a Yeshua. We got to up the prices now. We got to up the prices. So Baruch Hashem, you needed. What was the story? Quickly, tell us.
Who? Stephen wants to share Zera Shimshon in 5 towns.
Right. So he started doing. Yeah. So he's getting involved now. We're going to talk to him next week.
We're gonna have chats with him, and we're gonna hopefully expand. Like we have a kollel here in Efrat.
We'll start growing kollelim around the world.
And this is just an idea of what we want to do globally. There already is many places, and we're going to find them. We already have some people in New York who are already sharing this as well. And growing. Yeah, I mean.
And he had a baby boy.
Grandson.
He
was very happy to tell us.
He was very happy to tell us.
He felt that we were part of the Yeshua.
Beautiful. I don't know. Yeah. All right, so now we're going. Let's go. Parashat Tazria, Derush Bet. Midrash Rabbah. We have a very interesting midrash where it says the midrash actually goes into detail of Ishaki Tazria, right? It connects it with a pasuk in Tehillim. Ahor v'kedem sartani. Ahor means last. V'kedem means first. Sartani means formed, created. So Hashem created me last, first. He created me. Okay, that's the pasuk that's connecting to Tazria, right? If a woman gives birth, let's figure out why. So there's a few rabbis that say what they say about it. Resh Lakish says Ahor. What does Ahor mean in the pasuk? What's the connection? That the last day of creation, which means Adam and Rishon was created on the 6th day, and Ibakedem is Ze Yom Rishon, and he says Yom Rishon is what? Yom Rishon is that Adam, the neshama of Adam and Rishon was created on the first day of creation, and he brings you a pasuk. You heard me, Ari. So right now you have a pasuk in Tehillim that says Ahor v'kedem sartani. Ahor means last and first. So he created my last and first. He created me. So that's a little strange.
Also, like behind and in front.
Behind and in front. Last, but we're gonna say last and first. Last and first. We're gonna see what.
We're gonna see what.
We're gonna see what this all means. The Rabbi comes out and says that this pasuk has to do with a parasha, and he says that, and he connects with Adam and Rishon, and he says Adam and Rishon was born on the Hashem created the aspect of Adam and Rishon on the first day and on the last day, and he brings a pasuk to prove it. He brings a pasuk Veruach Elohim merahevet apnei hamayim, and he says, what's this Ruach Elohim? Is the Ruach shel Adam and Rishon? The Midrash calls it Rucho shel Mashiach Tam. The Ruach shel Mashiach. I'm still waiting for my thing, by the way. You don't think I forgot? Yeah, I'm waiting for it. We're going to work on it together. Okay? He says what? And by the way, the Matanot Keuna explains that the Ruach of the Neshama, he says that it's supposed to be the Ruach of Adam and Rishon. Adam and Rishon is really Kolel of all 600,000 Jews. Then once Hayat Adam and Rishon happened, Kolel means everybody, inclusive, everybody. Like mom likes to go to all inclusive. So Ruach Elokim is what? Is that my father like that? Ruach Elokim is what? Is the Ruach of the Mashiach, which is the Ruach of Adam and Rishon, which is all of the Jewish nation. Okay, but that just to show you, he brings up this is how he holds, and this is what he says. He says if a person is zocheh, if a person merits, they're gonna tell him.
What does merits mean?
You're zocheh. You do the right thing. You deserve it. You do mitzvot, you're going to deserve something. You don't do mitzvot, it's going to be a little rougher. So he says that if you do that, then what? Ata kadamta lechol maaseh bereshit. That the malachim are going to tell you that you came first before the whole concept of Maaseh Bereshit, you were the first thing that God created. If you zocheh. If you're not zocheh, is they're going to tell you that a bug was created before you. Okay? If you're not zocheh, they're going to say Yatush kedamcha, came before you. Shilshul keda, a worm. What was created on the fifth day? No, the animals.
Animals, yeah, man, 6 days.
Bugs, right? But so
the
bugs,
animals before,
they
yeah.
were created before us. We were created on the sixth day.
Gotcha.
They were created on the fifth day. Animals were created on the fifth day. We were created on the sixth day. So that means that Hashem felt the need to make the animal for us. So they're saying it in a negative way. So if you're zocheh, you're gonna say Hashem's the Malachim are gonna say it in a good way. If you're not, God forbid, they're gonna say it in a bad way that you're.
How do you be socher?
Torah mitzvot. Listening to mommy, listening to your father. Try it. Rabbi Ishmael says what? Rabbi Ishmael says, what is Ahor v'Akedem? Remember, they're all being Doresh, they're all talking about this pasuk. Ahor v'Akedem. Ahor is he was last to be created. Ahor, the Chol Ma'asim v'Akedem, to get punished. The first one to get punished. How does he know? He brings a proof from the Mabul. When the Mabul happened, 40 days of rain, it was boiling hot rain. Who died first? The people, before the animals. The people died first by the Mabul. Remember Noah, the Mabul?
So why is that better?
It's not better, it's worse. So he's saying that we're the last ones to get created, and we're the first ones to get punished. That's what Rabbi Shmuel is explaining.
So Rabbi Shmuel is saying in bad way.
Yeah. And Rabbi Yohanan comes and says what? That we're last to sing praises to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
איפה הראיה שאנשים...
מתו במבול?
הראשון.
It's brought down. Rain, yeah. It's rain in the Midrashim that people died before the animals.
How did they die first? How did they die before the ones that crawled on the ground?
I don't know, I don't know. Do they
think like they would drown first?
do they need air? How do you know they need air?
It also wasn't just.
How did they die?
Hey, how you doing? How do you know that bugs need air to survive? I don't know. Google it.
How did they die?
By the way, bugs also float. Ari, bugs also float.
So do people.
How did we die?
The water from the Mabul was boiling hot water. And originally when it came down slow. And because Hashem was hoping that the people would finally see what's going on and say, okay, we'll make the Shuvah. Hashem doesn't say, when Hashem sends you something, He doesn't send it like, He doesn't smack you in the face and say, you have to make the Shuvah.
Well,
He gives you little hints.
He was building the table?
100, no, how many years? No, 120.
So how did they die?
So that after when Hashem, at some point, they're like, okay, too bad. Hashem sent everything. They died. We died. From all the hot water. Imagine God forbid hot water getting poured on you. Let's continue.
אפשר גם להבין בגלל שהאנשים, המבול גלגל החטאים של האנשים, אז לכן הם נענשו ביום ראשון.
מה?
הם חטאו, אז לכן הם נענשו
דור
ראשונים.
מבול?
לכן הגיע המבול, לכן הם גם נענשו ראשונים. יכול להיות.
כן. Okay, so now that's the thing. So you have three rabbis say three different things. The Resh Lakish says, what does Kodem ve'Ahor mean? Or Ahor ve'Akedem? Three Hachamim. Three rabbis. The first one says that Resh Lakish is the main one. Resh Lakish says that if you're Zocher, they're going to say that you were created by Maaseh Bereshit. You were the first. If you're not Zocher, they're going to say that you were created. You're worse. You're not as important as the ants because the ants were created before you. Okay. Now Rabbi Shmuel comes and says not only that, but we're the last ones to be created, we're the first ones to get punished. And Rabbi Yochanan says not only that, but that we're the last ones to give the praises. We say it every day, right? And Hallelu et Hashem min hashamayim, Hallelu b'meromim, right? Marom, they're the ones praising him, right? Hallelu kol melachav, all the malachim praising him. Kol seva'av, shemesh ve'yareach, koch ve'or, all the stars. Hallelu shemei hashamayim ve'amayim, Hashem me'al hashamayim, and the water that's on top of the hashamayim. Bing bang boom, all the way down. And what's last? The last is Vayarin Kirele Amot Tehila Lechol Hasidav Libnei Sakkal Ba'Aluka. We're the last ones to say. We're the last ones to praise. And by the way, you have over here Malchei Eretz Lechol Lim Starim Kol Shoftei Haaretz Bahrim V'Gam Betulot Zekrim Im Ne'arim. You know, what's it, Ari? When I first met you, I said this, and I didn't see you for a month. Just so you know, Sefer Hasidim says on this. He goes, "How do you know that men and women are supposed to be separate?" It says Bahorim V'Gam Betulot. Zekirim im ne'arim. Bahurim, boys and girls, betulot, they're like young girls. Zekinim, older men with the younger men. So say they're supposed to be together, but the other ones, they're supposed to be separated. But that's a separate point. But I hope I see you, by the way, tomorrow, Ari, because last time I said that, I didn't see you for a month. I'm just saying. Anyway, so now we have to understand. The question is, we have to know what is the essence of what was the essence of what we created? Was the essence our neshama, or was the essence our goof? Because it makes a very big difference. You have to pick your poison. You have to decide what you want to go with. If you're going to say the neshama was the essence, then beauty. Then even if a person, God forbid, is not zocheh, you cannot tell him that a bug is better than you because you were created last. That's not fair. If I'm zocheh, if I do good, you're going to say something nice to me. But if I'm bad, you're going to use something else. That's not okay. And the other way goes also. If the essence of Adam is really the goof, then even if I am zocheh, you cannot tell me that I was, from the first thing of Maseh Bereshit.
But wouldn't the nefesh and the guf have to work ensemble
together? But we didn't get there yet. But
only because a neshama on its own can't do mitzvahs, but a body can through.
We're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. You're cheating because you have the art scroll. But look, before you get there, you have to realize something. The purpose of the midrash, Yaakov, the purpose of the midrash is to be doresh, is to expound, because it does not say in the midrash the correlation between the neshama and the goof. It's left for us to understand and to dive deeper. There's a lot of sod that's hidden in the midrash that everybody gets caught up on. Is the midrash real or not? Thank you. It's not like it's a silly question. It's not worth asking. The question is, what is the midrash teaching me? What am I supposed to learn from the midrash? What do you care? I was talking to a guy, by the way, today, okay, a friend of mine texted me today, and he says, and I send him a reminder every day to put the tefillin on. Okay, and he sends me a thing today. He tells me, he goes, I want to share something. This is how I personally know that Hashem is watching. He says he's been trying to get pregnant they're trying to get pregnant for months, young couple, trying to get pregnant for months, and every month disappointment. And he said maybe it's time that I change something in my routine religiously. So he says he gave up eating not kosher meat. He said within the month, a month and a half, we got the results as pregnant. Wow. You don't understand everything we rely on, but you're not going to understand. So the purpose of the midrash is to expound these things. So I tell him, I go, technology is the easiest way to show you that God is everywhere. Because if my Nest cameras could see everything all the time, and if the Google knows what the cameras. Yes, he did. Very good. Hafetz Chaim said 150 years, 70 years ago. Now technology is going to come out so much because you know what? Because technology is very good. I didn't want to say it, very good. That technology is going to show you how powerful Hashem it really is.
A knowing eye, as we say in Pirkei Avot.
What?
Pirkei Avot says a knowing eye. What does it mean? An eye is always watching you. We couldn't imagine that until technology developed the reality of a knowing eye, of a camera, of being watched.
Right. So you understand? So look, the internet, I don't know how the internet works, but it's everywhere. I have no idea. So if man-made could do things, if man-made could go to the cloud. Of course
we need six more subscribers on YouTube.
Please handle it.
Guys, six more.
Help me out. I don't know why, but we gotta get 6 more.
Then we have 50 and we can go live on the actual Zera Shimshon channel. Right now we're just borrowing a channel.
We're borrowing a channel. We're peddling in the streets.
Moshe was the first that had tablets up in the clouds.
Right, very cute. So he Daka shows so technology really shows. So that's what I told him. I go, now imagine there's a guy in Japan, a guy in Israel, a guy in Brooklyn, and we all believe the world's all about us. That my life is the most important thing, and you just happen to be in it. You understand, Zev? But the fact is, I have my own world. You have your own world. Tom has his own world. Yaakov has his own, and each one is micromanaged together with God. On each, and he's never lacking. God is never not there. So that's just technology is one small thing to show you how it really works. It's crazy.
But how is it one small thing? It's big.
Compared to Hashem, it's nothing.
But who said it was compared to Hashem?
Your father. Hafetz Chaim said. Hafetz Chaim said that the reason why technology will come out is to show everybody what it's good. All right, let's move on. Okay, so the question is again, you have to pick your poison. You want to say, if we're going to be zocher, we need to know what is the essence of man. Is it the neshama or is it the goof? If it's the neshama, no problem. But then if I'm not zocher, you cannot tell me that a bug is better than me because I was legitimately created or incepted before Maaseh Bereshit happened. You understand? And the same thing the other way around, because they're applying two forms or two whatever to answer from good or bad. You can't do that. Either I'm good, either I am or I am.
Okay. But aren't the animals, even a gnat, I think from David HaMelech, it didn't a gnat help David HaMelech?
Spider.
It was a spider.
Spider.
Okay, but these are all tools for us to
Agreed.
use.
But the Midrash is explaining that if I am zocher, they're going to tell me I was the first thought in heaven. And if I'm not zocher, you're going to tell me that I'm not the first thought and a little bug is better than me. Was I born first or not?
I mean, it's basically the same question of like, is the whole world with me or am I dust and ashes? That's something that we're supposed to live with all the time.
No,
Both
no, because the question is, you're going to throw it in my face or give it to put me higher. You can't pick either I'm born on the first day or I'm born on the sixth day. You can't. My mother used to tell me you can't have your cake and eat it too. You got
what?
your cake and eat it too. No, this
Hashem gave
generation.
you a bunch of tools to be used for good. Now, if you don't use them, the tools are better than you. What good are you? I made you all these beautiful
Right.
tools. You didn't use them.
Right.
That I understand.
You should ask him first. So at the first glance, by the way, you could come up with an answer. As Zera Shimshon says, Le'olam Ruach, we know is the neshama, which is of course the ikar. Right? But what's the problem? The problem is after a person sins, right? What leaves you? The ruach and the neshama leaves the person. The Derech Hashem says, Dad, we mentioned Derech Hashem today. Derech Hashem says that Ramchal writes that when a person, by the way, Zera Shimshon was written at the same time that Derech Hashem was written. Misilei Sharim, Derech Hashem, all by the Ramchal. They lived at the same time.
When did Zera
250 years ago.
Who wrote Zera Shimshon?
Rabbi Shimshon Haim ben Nachmani. There was a rabbi in Spain. He had one kid who passed away, and he writes in his Hakdama, because I have no children, I'm going to write down my Torah. Anybody that studies my Torah will see you will be considered my child, and I will give you all Yeshuot. I will pray for you with Shemaim, and this is one of the reasons why we have this. People asking for Yeshuot. People asking things they need. They need help with the house. They need help.
All he sees
His names. All right, so let's go on, boys. Let's go on. So originally you could say what? You could say that we know the neshama is obviously the ikad, but once a person sins, like it says in Derech Hashem, that what is the concept of evil, or what's the concept of when a person does something bad? It's Hashem moving away from you. So the light becomes dimmer. Dimmer. That's what it is. You become dimmer. Because the Shekinah is not with you. When the person does more, you become greater and stronger and larger and brighter. So when the person sins, brighter means from the order of Torah, from the light of Torah. But if you take out the neshama, what are you left with, Tom? You're left with a goof that's just like an animal. Without your neshama, what are you left with? Is a goof levado kabehema. And they would tell him, you're worse than a bug. Okay? Why would they say that? Because exactly like my father says, I gave you a neshama. You messed up. You didn't do the right thing. Now you ended up being just like that. By the way, we read in one of the classes. We read an example of. I'm hoping somebody smiles when I say this, so they'll understand. A king sees a poor guy, and he pulls him out of the rut, and he puts him, and he dresses him up in nice clothing, and he takes a liking to him, and now he puts him in the castle. The guy lives in the castle. He's very close to the king. Now all of a sudden, this guy is walking in the streets again, and he sees his old crew all rummaging in the streets or whatever. He gets all excited, so he takes off all his royalty clothes, and now he goes to run and go hang out with these bums. And then the king comes and sees this and wants to kill him. You understand? So that's the
Who
same
does
thing.
he want to kill?
The guy that he took from the ashes, from the poor guy that he took. He gave him all the royalty stuff. Okay, and then 5 years later, this guy with all the royalty that was originally poor, he tells him, he sees his old friends who were all nasty, and he takes off all his good clothes, like taking off your tzitzit, taking off your kippah, and I'll go running with not clean people. Hashem's going to get very mad. I gave you all these things, all these beautiful things. You need to use them. So if Hashem gave you an neshama and you're not going to use it properly, you're just as bad as the animals. That's what's it. But we can't say that because it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Let's find out. Because you have to add, this is a very good point. The pasuk that the Midrash connects it to and makes all this and says all this is Dafka what? The pasuk that says Ahor Vakedem. We said Ahor is the last. What's the last? The 6th day. What did Hashem create on the 6th day? The goof. Man, I'm waiting for you. Okay, right? But pasuk shaman Ahor Vakedem. So if that's true, then it should have been Kedem ve'Ahor. Because the neshama was the first thing that he was supposed to, that he made. So if he really wanted, if he really wants to connect it with this pasuk, and he wants to say that the ruach is first, then he might as well, then the pasuk should have been transferred. Say kedem ve'ahod. Does everybody understand that? Again, I'm going to say it again. Zera Shimshon offers an understand explanation. What's the explanation? He says you really could say that we know the ruach is the neshama, and we know that without the neshama, you lose your neshama once, God forbid, a person sins. And if you lose it, you don't come back, you lose it. So if you lose it, what are you left with? Your goof. What's the issue with the goof? You're just like an animal. So maybe the Malachim are going to tell you, you're not zocher, you let your neshama go, you didn't try to get it. And, no, you got the wrong book. And you didn't try to get it, and you didn't try to do whatever, and then so now you missed the boat, and it's not worth it, and you're wrong. Right? And no good. But that doesn't work. Here you go. I got you. So it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because you want to connect it with a pasuk in Tehillim that says Ahor va'kedem. But we said Ahor is 6th day 6. Kedem we said is day 1. So if you want to say that the ruach is the main point of the person, then you should swap out the words. You should do Kedem first, then Ahor. First was the whole purpose of God creating you was what? Was to use your neshama the right way. If I didn't use the neshama the right way, then I'm left with a goof. I'm just like a bug. But that's not what the pasuk says. Pasuk says goof is first. So you can't use that explanation. You got it, or should I say it again?
You can.
But isn't Kedem before creation?
Kedem is for, that's the
It's
neshama.
not the first day, it's before my separation.
But over here, so Kedem,
Machshava Tzachila. It was
fine.
Yeah.
So there
The
you go.
souls were before
So,
the bria.
right, that's the point. That's the hidush. That was first. That was first. So if the neshama was first, why is the pasuk in Tehillim starting with goof? If you're telling me that if I'm a goof without a neshama, I blew it. So really, I should be the other way.
But the only reason why the neshama is here is because of the goof.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the tachlis.
Meaning, like, the neshama would not be here without the goof. But also, the goof would also not be here. God
Right. There's no
created
point
this
of the
world
game if
without
there's no
the-
neshama.
Yeah, Sof Masa Machshava
Right.
Tzachila.
So then fine. So to your point,
But really, the only
Masa
reason,
is the sof.
but really, the only reason why the neshama is allowed to be here is because of
the goof.
physical-
The goof is just the keli that facilitates you with the ability to do things.
Mitzvahs.
It's the what? The vehicle. It's the way you can do things. If I don't have internet, my computer is really worthless. It's not correct, but it kind of is.
No, there's plenty of good games without this.
It's solitaire.
Thank you.
Okay. So now, all right. So now let's keep going. So again, so that doesn't work because the really it should be what it should be. Ahor, the pasuk says ahor b'kedem, and really because you're using the word kedem as the shevach, as the praising of the guy. So if that's true, then you need to say that word first in the pasuk, not last. That's what it's saying. You got it? Good. I hope so. Yes?
Me too.
Okay. I'm going to take it for now. You good, Tom?
What's he really asking? What is the basic question he's asking?
He's asked. There's a midrash that says Reshaki.
I got that. But
Good. So now, but the question is, you have to pick. Was I created the
why do you
first?
have to pick?
Because you're saying that I was created on the first day. If I'm created on the no, I'm sorry. They're saying that it's
Aspects. Aspect is an important word here, I think.
aspects. Okay. What the question is? The Reshakish, you're telling me that if I go to Shemayim and if I am not zocher, right? If I do not merit, they're going to tell me that I'm just that a bug is better than me. But you're also saying, Reshakish, that if I am zocher, they're going to say that the whole Maaseh Bereshit I was made before that.
Why is the book better than you?
1 second. You understand? But then the second part is you need to decide. Why are you telling me a bug is better than me because it was created before me? But if I'm zocher, you're going to tell me that I was created first. Which one was it? Do you hold that I was created first, or do you hold that I was created after the bug?
And why
You
does
can't
your
have both
being-
ways.
Why does your being
First.
zocha have anything to
I
do with
say
the
first.
reality of the situation?
That's the question. What is me being zocher have to do with the reality of the situation. That's really perfectly said. You understand?
Yeah, okay.
So
That's
you're
much better
creative
than what I
first.
said.
That's
One
much better,
second.
because otherwise,
Much better.
what's the difference?
You're much smarter than me.
I don't even know what I just said.
Okay. So now we tried to come up with an answer to say that the ruach, right? That once a person sins, the ruach goes away, so you just left with the goof, and that's fine. But even if you want to say that, it still doesn't help you because the pasuk itself says ahod v'kedem. Ahod means the goof, and the kedem is the neshama. If the neshama is the more important thing, then the pasuk should have said kedem first and then ahod. You understand? You got the whole concept is what is my what is the essence of me? Is it my neshama or is it my goof? Let's just stick with that. My neshama or my goof. So let's just stick with that. Let's stick with that. We're trying to figure out because he's saying because Reish Lakish is not deciding. Reish Lakish is not saying which one. He's making a contingent on your actions within your lifetime. Huh? Okay, good. So you gotta work it.
Question.
Yeah.
Hashem created the goof, but man did not function, did not do anything until Hashem blew into
Yes.
the
Right.
neshama into the man.
So we're gonna get there. We're
So
gonna get
the
there.
goof itself is worthless. I mean, we're
True, but if the goof is worthless,
the only worth it has is to do
And
mitzvot.
Shema.
Through
yes,
the
but if Reish Lakish is connected with this pasuk in Tehillim, and the pasuk in Tehillim is specifically saying body first and then
That's the deal.
right, it should be the other way.
It was still created first.
no, everything that led
Your
up
goof
to-
is just
Oh,
what's more important, you or your house, you, right?
Yeah.
So that's the same thing. Your goof is your house. You or you, you're your neshama.
So why does it say
I-
house first? Why does it say
Right? Why did I say house first and then me? It should say me first, then my house.
Because everything has been built up from day one of creation up to the ultimate creation of being man with the nefesh. It's a build up to that.
Let's
So
see.
that-
Let's
that
see.
doesn't-
All right, let's see.
הנשמה
Let's see.
צריכה לעבוד
Okay,
דרך
we'll see. No more Oscar.
By the way, we have more than 10 people here, so we for sure can get the extra.
Boys,
five.
hook me up. I got 500 people watching this thing and nobody's subscribing.
I tried.
You tried? What happened? I know, me neither. I kept saying, I kept on saying, sign up on Facebook, and he keeps screaming, YouTube. By the way, you're on time. I got you, huh? Itamar, I got you. But I want him having a good seat. No, give him a good seat. Okay.
I'm going to the
Give
couch.
him-
Even though you're not supposed to, I'm going to the couch.
Fine. Itamar, sit over here next to me, please.
No, I'm not gonna come.
No, he's leaving anyway. Don't worry about it. All right, boys, let's focus.
ללא
Okay.
הגוף,
You're gonna come in the middle, but you're gonna be okay.
אני חושב שללא הגוף הנשמה לא יכול לעשות פה את התיקון.
No, yeah, barur. If you don't have a neshama, your goof, you can't do nothing with the goof. Let me see.
I think this is a great example. Let's say it's negative 30 outside. What's more important, your house or you?
You.
But without your house, you're dead,
Right.
right? So then, like, maybe the house is more important then.
But at the end of the day, when you're writing it down, you're not gonna give thanks to your house. You're gonna be talking about you.
Yeah.
Your neshama is first. Look, your neshama is first and foremost. The kelim that you have after that are your kelim, no doubt. But your neshama is what you are. That's your
But
essence.
your body is huge. Your body is a huge part, actually.
Yeah, like the
Without
Maggid
the body-
Understood.
a
We're not
hole in
saying
the
it's
body.
not nothing.
Is
We're not-
a small hole in the body is a giant hole in the soul. The Maggid Mezrich said that.
What did he say?
A small hole in the body is a giant hole in the soul. The Maggid Mezrich
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah. Okay, we're not saying that the goof has no meaning. We're just saying that the goof, that the neshama is supposedly coming first. But if you want to say the neshama is coming first, then what does the pasuk say? Goof first and then neshama.
And the only reason why the
But
goof
someone from New York wrote, if the body is used to do mitzvahs,
Tom,
it has the
Tom.
potential to be more holy than the neshama. Read that in the Neshama by Rav Aryeh Leibovitz.
Say again?
This is someone from
What do you say?
from New Teaneck, yeah.
Teaneck, New
If the
Jersey.
body is used to do mitzvah, it has the potential to be more holy than the neshama. Read that in the Neshama by Rav Aryeh Leibovitz.
I'll get on that. Okay, good. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. That's okay. That's a lot. Okay.
Got a long night.
All right. So let's see the answer. So now let's look. Okay, we're gonna go to Pirkei Avot. Okay.
Who wrote that?
Tinek, I hope you're listening.
Who wrote that? Who's in Tina? Who wrote that?
It doesn't matter. Well, who is
The
it?
Blessed Doe. I know who they are. They are part of it. We've we know who they are. They're good.
They're good people?
Very good people.
All right, they should have a lot of
Yeah,
benefit.
a lot of
They
good.
should have a lot of
Torah.
benefit. They should have a lot of
Amen.
benefit. Good. All right, so now look, if you look at... Could you just listen to the class? Stop it.
46% of us are here already. Just saying.
Right, by the way, I saw that.
We're really close.
All right, look. Rabbeinu Ovadia bin Bar Kenura, okay?
Shishim Ribo.
Shishim Ribo, yeah. Okay, 1 second. Let's focus.
You're regretting it, right?
No. I'll make an honest woman out of you yet. Pirkei Avot says, by the way, very great Mishnah, okay, in Perek Gimel, it says, Kol sheyirat het'o kodemet lehochma, hochmato mitkayemet. This is very important to know. I'm reading on the bottom of Nun Het.
They came up
Umatzinu
with the
b'firush.
name. Eli and Rivka Hamburger. That's who's calling out now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome. Okay. I mean, I opened the book for you. Open the page for you.
No, what?
No. We're on Tazria. We're on Tazria Big.
Daf Noah.
Yeah, Noach, Nun Het. On the bottom. So look, we have to understand what the answer is.
Really good.
Yeah, I know it's going. I'm trying to say, everyone's killing me here. So Rabbeinu Ovadia bin Bar Kenura brings up a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. It says, Kol sheirat het, kol sheirat heto kodemet lehochma, hochmato mitkayemet. I absolutely love this Mishnah. It's very important. In Masechet Shabbat, Kof Yud Het or Kof Yud Tet, I think, it says, there are people that hold the Torah in their left hand, there are people that hold the Torah in their right hand. What is the difference? The people that hold the Torah in their left hand are like compared to the people that have the keys to the inner vault of the palace, but does not have the keys to the outer vault of the palace. They don't have the key to the front door, so they can't even get in. Meaning they have the Chokhmah, they know the Gemarot, they know the Zohar, they know the Halakha, they know the Stirot, they know the Braitot, but they see it as
But they don't know Chumash.
they know Chumash, but it's when you see things, when you see,
Come to it.
there's no love, there's no connection. It's like learning math.
It's like intellectual learning.
Intellectual learning.
For the sake of teaching.
It's not. What do we say? The Shem Yehud.
That's like playing soccer and not like it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. So you have Bing Bang Boom. You have in. I was about to say something and now you made me forget. Okay. So it says here that, so again, anybody that is Yirat Het, what does Yirat Het mean? Yirat Het means I'm afraid to make a sin. Why am I afraid to make a sin? I'm afraid to make a sin because it's going to make me further from God. Any sin, God forbid, a person makes them further from Borei Olam. So any person that has the Yirat Het comes before his actual learning, whatever learning he does do will be mitkayemet, will sustain itself. You will remember it. You understand? That's what he's saying. And he explained, what does he write on it? So that's the Mishnah. What does he write? Zera Shimshon, shehu hoshe belibo. The guy thinks to himself, Ilmod, I'm going to learn in order to become Yireh Het, וזה על דרך שאמרו תחילת המחשבה סוף מעשה. עד כאן לשונו. The guy saying, yes, that תחילת המחשבה, my initial thought, what was that? What was that? That's like the one guy in shul that like plays the status and everybody is. Tehilat machshava, the first machshava that a person has, right? But is proven through the last action. Right? The final act is the initial thought. The final act, boys, behave. The final act is the initial thought, which means what? He's explaining that I'm going to learn. We just said before that whoever has Yirat Het, right, who works on his Yirat Het first, will be able to, his Chokhmah will be able to sustain itself. And he gives the example. He doesn't explain the Mishnah. He's giving advice on how to acquire this. He's saying, if a person says, I'm going to learn Musad in order for me to understand and work on myself, then that's good. He'll acquire Yirat Het. Why? Because he applies this concept of, it's 4 words. Tehilat, what does Tehilat mean? The beginning. Hamachshava, my beginning thought, my first thought that I had. Sof Ha'maaseh. Sof means the end, Ha'maaseh, end of the action.
We say a very similar thing, L'chadodi. Sof Maaseh Machshava
No,
Tchila.
that's the opposite.
Sof Maaseh, Machshava, same thing.
Same thing, just different order.
Exactly the opposite wording, but the same exact thing.
Concept.
And that makes sense, by the way. That makes perfect sense. No, Sov Maaseh Machshavat
Rav
Tehila.
Tzadok Cohen says the Yud of Yosef is Chochmah, and it goes all the way down to the Sof, but it begins with that initial spark of Chochmah. So that's the concept of bringing the Chochmah all the way down into the Maaseh.
Right, and how do you bring the
Machshava
Chochmah
into the Maaseh?
Right, but you need to learn. Look, you know how it's explained to me. The higher the inspiration, the more dangerous the fall. We got. One second. Exactly. You get the, what's it called? You get, I told you come for a reason. You have Har Sinai. We got Aseret Diberot. We're on the high of highs, 49th level of Tahara. They said that the Shivha of Yam Suf, right, that the maidservants, right, that went through Yam Suf saw more of HaKadosh Baruch Hu than Yehezkel saw in Maaseh Merkava. It's unbelievable. So you talk about, by the way, you're talking about Har Sinai it's in 3,500 years. We're living off that one action of God exposing Himself to us. Revealing Himself to us. We're still living off that.
The redemption was before Lifnei Azman שהוא היה צריך להיות.
But it's not the point. The point is that
it would have taken had it been in a natural way, it would have taken way too long, and the world would have come to Kilayon. It would have been too hard for people.
Yes, well, that's why it says.
It
says B'chipazon. It says B'yad Hazakah. Why we didn't want to leave because we wanted to finish up our 400 years now.
But even more,
but we could because we're on the 40th level of Tumah. If we would have stayed one more second, we would have been. So it's not. We couldn't survive the round. You know, boxing you have 10 rounds. We wanted to stay in the ring, but we couldn't. Couldn't.
So it was rushed.
It was rushed. So the Rabbeinu Ovadia Bar Tenura is giving an explanation of how to acquire this yirat het, because you want to have chokhmah, but if he says I'm going to learn in order to have this yirat het, so I'm going to learn musad in order to understand what to be afraid of. You understand? And it's not afraid of like a cop, by the way. Yirat het, yirat shamayim doesn't mean like I'm afraid of getting pulled over, or a judge, or an auditor, God forbid. Not that. No, it's respecting the glory. It's respecting the awesomeness of God. That's what yirat shamayim means. That God does everything for me, everything, and there's nothing I can do to pay Him back. And all He says is just do these mitzvot for me. So we started talking about, I was quickly saying about inspiration done the wrong way. What does it do? So my Rabbi Azakot he told me, he goes, by Har Sinai, we were on the highest of high. And the minute Moshe Rabbeinu left, what did we do? The Egel. The minute he left, why? Because inspiration without the keli is a problem. It's like taking water. Water's great. But if you don't have a keli to put it in, it's going to end up spilling all over the floor.
What's a keli?
A keli is a cup.
A kli.
A vessel.
Keli, a vessel.
A kli.
This water is worthy of holding it because why? Because that's why it's so great. But the contents, the neshama, right? The Torah, my inspiration. But the Torah is like the keli. Everybody's dancing one to one tune or singing one song, and one guy is just getting in the zone and going off on his own beat. Very nice, but it's nothing to do with what's going on. That's why when Sephardim pray in Ashkenaz Shul, we pray Ashkenaz. Why are you done nodding? I'm agreeing. We pray Ashkenaz. Well, when we were in quarantine, I called my neighbor, Jay Kierman, and I asked him to teach me the tunes, the Ashkenaz tunes of Rosh Hashanah. Okay? He spent 45 minutes with me on the phone, on Zoom. Okay? I promise. It's crazy, right? And why? Because they were doing a minyan right outside the house. And for Rosh Hashanah, if everyone's gonna be singing, I want to sing with them. I want to be mitzaref. I don't want to sing my own tunes. I want to be with you. We're all singing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So in order to do that, you gotta learn. You gotta learn. You want yirat het, you want yirat shemaim, you gotta learn, Reuven, right? You gotta learn. So now, but you have a problem because you have another Gemara, you have another Mishnah Pirkei Avot that says, Im en chokhmah, if you don't have chokhmah, en yirah. Now I know everyone wants to jump down my throat and say, yeah, but it also says, en yirah, en chokhmah. Very nice, but that's talking about a different concept. But because we are limited on time, we're not going to go into that. But we're just going to focus on the first part of Mishnah that says the person that doesn't have chokhmah doesn't have yirah. Why? Because if you don't have chokhmah, you don't know what to be afraid of. If you talk to a guy who doesn't know anything about God, and now you're going to tell him, you have to fear this omnipotent situation and he's everywhere and you're inside of him and he's looking like 10 heads. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying. But if you teach him that my father taught me this, and my father's father taught him that, and my father's father taught him that, all the way to Moshe Rabbeinu. Now it starts to make sense. Because when I first moved here, my daughters asked me that question. How do we know it's real? Famous 7-year-old question. Great. I tell them, because 600,000 people cannot make up a lie and stick to it for so many years. So that, it's not true. I said, okay, let's try it. You 3 geniuses, okay, you take a week. I did this when I first moved here. Take a week, and I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna ask each individually questions. I'm gonna ask you. I want to see how many questions you come in. So they made it think. What is it? Okay, they went to a party and deal. That's what they said. Okay, to their friends, they was 12, 13 years old. Okay, that's what they did. Good. So 7 days passed, the week passed. I said, take another 3 days. I really do it again because I don't want any problems. So they take another 3 days. So fine. Now what do? I take 3 of them. I put them in the living room. I take one of them outside. Who's with me? My brother-in-law David Zayat. Okay, and my wife. God bless her. See, plug. And I asked 24 questions, and she answers whatever she answers. Good. Now I tell her sit over there. Okay, the table outside. I call in the next one. I start asking the questions. By the 3rd kid, I'm screaming, "Are you sure it was blue? Are you sure?" Because the other sister said red, and the other one said green, and you're saying blue. And then the neighbors, Weezen, texted Stephanie, "Is everything okay?" Because I'm outside and I'm literally screaming. I always scream. I'm screaming, but they don't know me yet. They don't know who I am. So they got a little scared. Like, what's going on? The new neighbors, Syrian guys, start screaming.
Is the fact that you're Syrian is that they're scared of, or is it more that you're screaming?
Gam begam. Okay. So he's showing you that. Why is he explaining this? Because if you want to learn in order to acquire Yirat Chet, he's giving you an example of Tehilat Machshava Sov Maaseh. That my beginning thought is proven with my final action. Because my beginning thought was really, I want to have Yirat Shamayim. I want to have Yirat Chet. How do I do it? I need to learn. So at the end of the day, when I learn and I do, God willing, acquire this Yirat Shamayim, now it made sense to what he wanted to do originally, even though he learned before having Yirat Shamayim. Because his intent was for the right reason. If I wanted to do it for the wrong reason, like I want to learn it so I could argue with people, that is not correct, and your chokhmah will never be sustained. That's why by the way, you have books, right? You have all, especially in this generation, you have, we'll call them conflicting books, or criticizing books, okay? Let's call them that, right? Those books don't last. Show me a book of 100 years ago based on, they don't have that. You know what's still alive? You know what's still today for 2,000 years? Gemara, Shulchan Aruch, Zohar HaKadosh, Halacha. Okay? Why? Because that's what sustains itself. That's based. Look, you read Rashi in this week's parasha, or last week's parasha. He says, no, it's this week's parasha. When he's talking about Baherit to something, he says he's explaining what the Metzora is, and then he says, but this I don't know what it is. Avazeh lo yadati, mahi, which means what? I read it. I'm like, he could have skipped it. He could have just not say anything. Like, well, I know who's the wiser. But no, he's the Shem Shemayim. That stuff, that's what gets survived year over year, generation over generation. Not people that write crazy things about what that was. That don't survive. And how do you know? Because it ain't on the shelf. They don't last. Why? Because Torah Kiddush is Kadosh. When things are done with Yirat Shemayim,
Water less.
Water? Water's Torah, by the way. Hashem made water. Where are they? איפה הם? נגמר. Why? Because we have a pasuk.
יש גרעין ותמיד נשארים גרעין.
אלה ברכב ואלה בסוסים. ואנחנו בשם השם נזכיר. הם הקראו ורפאו ואנחנו קמנו ונתעודד. אלו ברכב ואלה בסוסים, right? Our boys, right? Our buddies on the other side of the border are all about their guns and their horses and their chariots, right? They go out to war, they fall and die. Okay? We cry out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we pray to Hashem, help us, save us. We know in Masech Barachot, with Hizkiyahu HaMelech, that's where we learned that even if a sword is on your throat, you never give up. You never give up. Very good, buddy. You boys are amazing. Hello. He's rocking.
Hidden soda.
Nice.
His name's Aaron Yosef, so he's got a Yosef.
Good. So the inyan is what? So the inyan is that we do things our way. We if you want things to sustain, they need to be done for the right reason with the right intentions. Nothing good will come from something bad. You want to have Yirat Shamayim, then you have to learn. But you want to learn in order to gain Yirat Shamayim. That's the whole concept. So how does this tie into what we're talking about? It's all nice and beautiful. How does this work? Same thing here with Al Midrash. What was the beginning of the Mashava? HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the Neshama. Why? In order, was what you said originally. And I scuffed you off because I didn't want you to mess up my class. So I'm like, what do you want? Or going down the Hachinami. The Hachanami. Here also, Tehilat al-Machshava, right? Hayta lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, be'briyat haruach. The same thing, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create the Neshama first. Why? In order to create the Guf. Which is what? Sof Maaseh. The end thing, what he did in the 6th day of Maaseh Bereshit, he did specifically what? Was create the body. Was create the house. Was create the vessel. But the first guy said the first thing he did was create the what? Was to create the Neshama. So you see also here, Hashem's intention was to create the Neshama first, but he also needs the body. Why? If a person is zocheh, right? Which means what? Dehainu sheyilmod, he'll learn. Ve'yachshov belibo, he'll spend time thinking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the reason why we hear Zera Shimshon says the number one thing that the Yetzirah does is specifically make you busy, keep you busy.
True.
Let me watch Netflix another time, another show.
Yeah, those binge watch.
Not kidding. How many times? 3 hours later, you're like, what the heck? Where'd my time go? Huh?
And you see anybody gets like any break, pull out the phone.
Looking for something to do. Looking for something. It's a disaster.
Can I ask a question? I really don't know the
Yeah.
answer to this. The neshama couldn't exist on its own here. The body needs to, the body was created in order to do.
I'm sorry. Let me just tweak what you said. It's not that Neshama cannot exist here.
Okay, but there would be
The
no
goof
purpose.
cannot exist over there.
Right.
We know a
okay.
mustard seed can't survive.
So is the goof like a means of tzimtzum for the neshama?
100%.
Okay.
1,000,000%. The neshama is so strong it can be mitaken the goof like this.
Right.
And by the way, we're gonna say it right now. By the way, we're gonna say it in a minute. That by Tehat Metim, when I'm telling you, literally, you're all over the place.
I'm ahead of my time.
It's kind of a buskill here.
By the way, we had people reach out from Guadalajara, Mexico.
Mexico.
And whatever you say. And Spain. Spain, there are people watching. And also, with only 2 subscribers away, and then we can go live.
Entonces, ellos hablan inglés? You guys speak English?
Yeah.
Good. Bueno. Claro.
They said shalom. Greetings from B'nai Noach, Spain.
Spain. Good, huh?
They wrote yes. They speak English.
Bueno. Yo puedo hablar español también.
How many people?
Muchas gracias.
500.
All the time. 2, 3,
500.
4, 5. We're new
500.
channel.
Why are you busting my bubble for?
500.
Thanks. Do not say a
500.
500. Okay? So now listen.
He says 500.
So do you. Okay, let's focus. So now we understand this concept of doing something, right? Machshavat tehila, right? So ma'aseh machshavat tehila, like Eli said. So now here also the same thing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yes, he did create the neshama, the first thing in the beginning, right? He created the neshama on before when the whole world was still tov avo. He's still right, but at the end, but he didn't. But only when he created the goof did he put the ruach in. And you're right. Hashem has to tone the neshama down so much. Restrict. It's crazy, by the way. So much just to keep it on the same level as the Yetzirah. Your neshama is so crazily huge, like an atom bomb. That. Right? I remember you told me what an atom bomb was when I was a kid. About one atom, when what is it? How did it work again? When it splits, right? The atom splits. The whole thing goes.
The energy created is way beyond anything.
Way beyond anything. Same thing with our neshama. Really, it's a Havetz Hayim all over again.
Spotify
Technology.
joined. The Jewish Spotify.
Okay, fine. So. The you're messing up my flow.
I was just excited.
That time you can also I was gonna say you can expand this to also be that that also Am Yisrael is Reshit, and it's created on the first day as well, and all of Enoshut is in Adam, the goof of Adam is created on the last day. All of Enoshut has to go through its history, and then to become Bnei Israel at the end.
You're complicating. I agree, but you're complicating.
No, I'm just saying that the same, what has happening on the individual, what you're saying is happening on the individual level is also happening on a macro, on a macro human
True,
level.
but we're not talking that. We're talking, Resh Lakish made a statement. He made a statement with a purpose. His statement is contradictory. We're trying to understand what he means. Because that is the purpose, that is the reason, that is the way the Midrash is written. Every Midrash cannot be taken at face value. It is so deep, the Rambam says, if you believe that every Midrash is true, you're a fool. But if you believe every story of the Gemara is not possible, you're not Pikores.
Here's the simple, right here. The simple explanation right here. This is
yes,
perfect.
Tom.
Right, in other words, man is the main purpose of creation, and he was completed with the body. He was completed when the body was created in order to house the soul. And hence the creation of the body was the final act of creation. Since the final act is the initial thought, there you go. Right. Hashem planned the body before he created the soul and everything else.
Right. And also
So now we're back. Okay, right. So we're back on, but now we're showing that the goof. Remember, with the whole thing we said, we can't say that the neshama is the most important thing, because then the pasuk would be flipped. The pasuk would say kedem first, which correlates to the neshama, but it says ahod first, last. I'm sorry, ahod, which is the goof. Right. So how can he tell me the goof is? It doesn't make sense.
Because you're living in a world that needs tikkun. So the world needs to be joined.
But every Musad book you learn tells you that this world is a prosdor. No. This is just a vestibule to get to Olam Haba.
Well, okay, but what?
One second.
So what is this world made for then?
To earn zechut and to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
For you.
For you.
What about,
literally for you.
Yeah, but what about what about all of the Enoshut?
There's an individual tikkun and there's a national tikkun.
And there's
I didn't see it.
So there's also a human tikkun.
I just said an individual tikkun.
And there's also a human tikkun.
There's an individual tikkun.
Because Partzuf Shel Adam.
Stop it! What are you getting into crazy things for? That's not what we're talking about.
Crazy.
I agree with you, but it's not on topic.
You have people from Spain. I'm just saying.
And Mexico. I understand what you're saying, but stay focused. I agree with you, but stay focused. We're saying here, what's more important, the neshama or the goof? Resh Lakish is saying that if you're zocheh, they're gonna act like you're the neshama, they're gonna associate you with the neshama being created first.
Right.
If you're God forbid not zocheh, they're gonna associate you with the goof being created last, and therefore comparing you that an ant is better than you. But we're asking Resh Lakish, you have to pick your poison. Which one is it? Were we created first or were we created last? You can't pick both. You can't dance at two weddings. You got to pick. So we explained the concept of Tehilat Machshava, Sof Maaseh. That the beginning thought is proven through the end act. Which means what? That the first Machshava was that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was going to create a neshama. And in order that it should be placed inside the goof. Good? Yeah. Placed inside the goof. Right? Which is what? Sof Maaseh. Day 6. V'lachen, therefore, if an Adam, right, is zocher, which means what does he do? He's smart enough to learn and to v'yachshov belibo elmad kedei sheyeh yireh het. I'm going to learn in order to understand what this is all about. How many people that I talk to, by the way, it's scary. They come and ask these questions, but they ask hard questions. Like this generation, I heard one time ago, the generation before us was wine. This generation is a generation of grape juice, diluted. They ask questions that we would never ask.
Because they're great, because they're looking for big answers.
But sometimes, but you got to be able to accept something. But you got to play. You got to play. You got to. 1 second. You have to use or what's the word? You need to. So you live in Israel all of a sudden. You forget English. You have to apply both variables. The variables on both sides. I told a kid one time. He goes, "How long did you spend? He showed me a Google sheet, a Google Doc sheet." Oh, freaking retarded. I can't. And I thought, how long did you spend on this? A year, 18 months. Oh, very nice. I go, could you do me a favor? He goes, yeah. I go, I have an exercise I want you to do. I go, I want you to take 7 days, David. 7 days. And prove to yourself, and create a new Google Doc. Prove to yourself that God is real. And then we'll talk. You're just so gung-ho. They don't understand the concept of the Yetzirah pushing to show, to say, to prove and come up, all these analytical answers. Why Borei Olam God? How can you even say such things? But so then, no problem. Take 7 days. You took a year and a half, by the way. No problem. Now take 7 days. You could do 7 days. If you do it a year and a half on one side, if you really want to know the truth, and that's what I told him. If you really want to know the emet, because if you don't want to know the emet, then tell me. I'll give you a different answer. But if you really want to know the emet, everyone's looking for the emet.
For sure.
But do they want to do the work for it or not?
Well, it's not for nothing that it says that B'ikvot the Mashiach, the face of the door will look like the face of the dog.
Yeah.
It's a zut metzach. It's
Pahim Tanim. The Arizal says, but you forget that the Arizal says that the Mashiach is going to come not through the Gedulim and not through the Tzaddikim, but through Pahim Tanim, small jugs.
And why there's so many people on earth?
Is it?
Yeah, there's week Parshat, the bite. When the person looks at the bite, the person in the bite is a nega. The Kohen, before the Kohen declares it,
right.
At Sarua,
right.
Rashi says, and the Orach Chaim HaKadosh say that Hashem is Rachmanut on the people. He says you can go in there,
take out
even the Pachim Tanim. Take out the
I'll do that. Shem Kidok, gorgeous. So you see what? So what is the original machshava? Was the goof the whole time? But the goof without the nefesh, without the neshama, is nothing. If you're gonna live your life about Gashmiut, you're gonna miss the boat. It's a fact of life. You could talk, by the way, it's funny because you could talk to anybody, even if they're not religious. I talk to a lot of people in business, a lot of people, Jewish and not Jewish. Okay, and it's so funny how you could extract from them that everything's from God. It's so true, and it's beautiful, and I want to do that because you make Kadesh Shem Shamayim by doing that.
Absolutely,
it's amazing.
Well, wait, just further on what you were saying about the dough that's asking these questions. That's an opportunity for you also to
if they're willing to listen, if they're willing to accept. You can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped, right? In AA, that's what they tell you.
Sometimes people are ADD. It takes a while for them to
I'm ADD. I'm patient.
For the message to lechalchel, and it's an opportunity for the message to get out there. Meaning the questions are being asked for the
I'm going to be honest. The message is always meant to go out there. The question is how. You cannot tell me the concept of emunah only has to be sent out now, and it does not apply 7 generations ago. It always applied.
The world wasn't prepared for all that we know now. Why are there so many?
It's not real.
It's fake. Very real.
Fake.
You had a bunch of people doing avodah zara,
by the way,
2,500
if you were by the time of avodah zara, you have to realize it's all the same thing. It's just changing. The titles of the books are changing. The same distractions are coming. That's what you have to get. You think we're the only ones that are distracted? You don't think that ADHD back 100 years ago?
You don't think that a 6-year-old today has more knowledge in his head, has more things that he knows than
Sasha, go upstairs. No, maybe Dad maybe should do it. Dad, go upstairs. The breaker might run off. See, this is what we have to deal with on the farm here in the front, boys. I think it's my Tesla charger.
We need more sponsors to pay for electricity.
No, I think if they know that I had a Tesla, they wouldn't be so.
Hey, they had an ice storm in Montreal during Pesach.
Yeah.
They had no power for 4 or 5 days.
I know, I saw that. But the whole point is, Itamar, you have to realize that the Bach, who wrote 1,000 years ago, Shar B'Tachon, the Chovot Levavot, explains that no matter what, it's always you're always gonna be distracted. The Gemara talks about being distracted. You're always there's distractions that we can't. You understand what I mean? We're always distracted.
Absolutely, no. I understand what you're saying.
They were distracted 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago. They were also distracted. I'm just saying. Listen,
I don't think we're really arguing.
I'm saying we're not that different. How's the lighting over here? Well, I have an idea.
It's fun. It's perfect. No, the lighting is good.
Is it? Nice. All right, yeah, let's go. All right, Onam. So now again, if you zocher, If you talk Torah, you make it work. If you zocher, right, they're going to tell you that really, because now you completed what God wanted. You did exactly what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted. He wanted to create your neshama. He wanted to create your goof. He wanted to create a place where you're going to be distracted and you're going to say, I'm moving this aside and I want to focus on God. That's
מה העיקר? רגע.
the God is...
העולם הבא, העולם הזה, מה העיקר?
I got a question.
מה
עולם
העיקר?
הבא, עולם הבא.
מה פתאום? העולם הזה יותר חשוב. מה יש לכם?
פרקי אבות. פרקי אבות will support me and support you.
פרקי אבות
Will support me and support you. 1 minute in עולם הזה is worth more than all of עולם הבא. And 1 minute of Olam Haba is worth more than all of Olam Hazeh. You understand what the difference is?
So which one is it?
So figure it out and then
which one is it?
Which one is it? Which eyes are you looking? When you say that the 1 minute of Olam Hazeh is worth more than all of Olam Haba, is because what could you do in this world in 1 minute? You could acquire more Olam Haba. You could acquire more Zechuyot. In Olam Haba, there's nothing you can acquire. It is what it is. You've collected what you've collected. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You had your chance. It is what it is. Now is the time. Listen to me. Now is the time.
What is the Bria? Why is there a Bria? Why is there a Bria? What's the purpose of the Bria?
The purpose of the Bria is to gain mitzvot, get closer to Hashem. And you will not be able to get closer to Hashem and enjoy the Ziva the Shekhinah unless you're in Olam Haba. So you do what you do now, and based on your efforts now, that's what you're going to you're going to check line in Olam Haba.
Why do we have a nation called Israel? What are we all here to do? All of the nation of Israel. What's it here to do? If the job is for each individual to acquire his little corner, that's like
I didn't say that.
One second. So why do you have an Am Yisrael?
I did not say that. You can't put words in my mouth and then say why'd you say that.
No, 1 second. And why do you have Beit HaMikdash? Why? If Olam Haba
Can
is
you please stick to the topic, please? I'm going to lose my 500 followers. You think it's a joke? It's not a joke. You're going to ruin me.
Maybe he'll help you.
The purpose of life is the purpose of life is to acquire mitzvot and to get close to Hashem. Okay? Now you want to break that down into how that works? Like, I need another hour. But I can tell you.
I'll let you go with I'll let you do.
I'm just saying. I could sit with you, which we've talked about before, by the way. Just FYI, which means you didn't really listen the first time, which is fine. I'll do it again. No. I did. I spoke to you. I told you in detail. What is the purpose of God?
I still think you're wrong.
You think I'm wrong? It's not me, my friend. I'm sorry. It's not me. I don't speak myself. I tell you what's written.
I'm not speaking myself either. I'm basing myself on other rabbis.
On who? The rabbis that can't answer, then they're not rabbis. I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
What rabbi doesn't know the answer of why we're created?
What are you talking about? I read Rav Kook.
Rav Kook knows why we're created. What are you talking about?
It's for this world. That's what he's...
In order to do what? Turn the page and read the rest of it.
I did turn the page and I did read the rest of it. Rav Kook is saying that we're here to taken this world.
And then what? And then what? Yeah.
And then you get
short term. No. And then what? And then what?
Okay, you're going to get to Olam Haba by fixing this world.
Okay, good. So the zechut of that, and the zechut
we're
of
going to go live again, part 2 on the Instagram live.
What happened to the first part?
It stops at an hour.
So I got another 500 guys watching?
Yeah, we're going to renew.
That's cool.
New hour.
Nice.
2 more subscribers away from our YouTube live. We've got to get it. Someone's got
Okay, listen.
Someone here got YouTube, subscribe.
You guys
I gotta get it too.
Stop me. No, escucha. Don't listen to this. So listen, let's wrap up. Let's understand. We had a midrash. We explained that Resh Lakish comes and says that it says Ahor v'Kedim. It says last and first. We explained that Ahor means the goof and Kedim is the neshama. He explains that when a person goes after 120, if he's zocher, they're going to tell him. If he's zocher, they're going to tell him that you preceded the entire world. When the whole world was tovavo, you were the first thing that was created. If a person if it is not zocher, what are they going to tell him? That an ant is better than you. That's what they do. That's the midrash. Then we want to understand what does that mean. You got to pick your poison. We said. Do you want to say that we created the first, or you want to say that we created the last? Why? Because as my friend Zev said, he explained what is the essence. Are we the neshama or are we the goof? So we tried to say in the beginning that the neshama is actually the essence. And if the neshama is actually the essence, that when a person does a sin, when a person does, by the way, what is a sin? Not only the big stuff, not only killing, stealing, and znut. There's other things. There's yelling. There's lashon hara.
There's killing the gnat.
Missing the mark.
That's all it means.
Missing the mark. But missing
Chet is missing the mark.
Yeah. Because every time it's all a test. Everything's a test. It's
כל הזמן
crazy.
מלאכות.
Huh?
כל הזמן למתת מלאכות. יש הרבה.
Tom's talking about the translation. The actual translation, right, Tom?
What?
Leachti. Leachti means to miss.
The mark. Lachti means the mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard that?
Yeah.
Lachti means to miss?
Yeah.
Lachti is to
Mr. Mark is shooting a shot.
That's amazing. That's awesome. That's unbelievable. That's so
That's
cool.
what they say in Hebrew.
Tom, you knew that?
Yeah.
That's great. Missing the mark. Het means in modern Hebrew?
Yeah. Lachti.
Lachti.
means to miss.
I know that, right?
Verb.
Missed the mark. Holy cannoli. That's unbelievable.
You need to get a gun. You need to get a gun.
Points.
It's first.
So then we said, but then
mentioned about kind.
Kain. Right, yes, right.
Yeah.
So but then we said if that's true, then why does the pasuk say ahor, which corresponds to the word guf, and then kedem, which corresponds to the word neshama? Why is the word neshama second? It should be first. It shouldn't be last. So we push that aside. And we want to understand, what does this mean? By the way, it's unbelievable what the Zera Shimshon is saying. It's unbelievable. The Zera Shimshon is bringing a concept of tehilat machshava sof maaseh, that the final act is in the initial thought, and he's explaining that what exactly, right? Is it so? What is the final act? Is what the goof,
Right.
the goof, the body.
This is what he said.
Yes, the body. And what's the purpose of the body? In order for you to metakeh this world, then if you were smart enough to understand what your job is, to not sit home and watch TV, and if I have an hour, let me go relax. Because like Kohelet says, it says there's a time for this, there's a time for that, there's a time to cry, there's a time to be happy. Does not say, the Hafetz Chaim says, does not say there's a time to live. Does not say there's a time to live. Look, 28 Pesukim, I think. It says, does not say there's a time to live. Why? Because we are not here to live. We're here to work. And we're happy. We want to work. We really want to work. There's nobody here that does not want to do the right thing. Not one person here. Right or wrong? There's not one guy that does not want to do the right thing.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're all here. So Hashem is saying, so Reish Lakish is saying, if the person is smart enough to acknowledge that and understand to use the tools that are put in place to use, which is what? Studying Torah. Like Messiah Hashem says, God does not have the 120. God, Shlomo Amel says, Hashem did not ask you. Hashem did not ask you. Did you study philosophy? Did you study math? Did you study this? Did you study that? That's not you're late. That's not what the newbie. That's not what Borei Olam asked you. Borei Olam asked you at the end of the day, boys. Borei Olam asked you at the end of the day, did you spend time every day learning Torah? Morning and night. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. You complete, it's the Deoraita, just like Shemirat Shabbat. Just like keeping Shabbat. You understand? Just like keeping Shabbat. You gotta talk slower.
אדם צריך להגדיל את עצמו אפילו לפני שהוא אוכל ארוחת ערב, כדי שהוא לא ירדם מהאוכל.
In English?
A man has to, before he eats...
What? You prepare Erev Shabbat to eat on Shabbat?
Yeah, every night. Before you eat, learn.
Before you eat.
Tired.
So I'm going to tell you...
tired, so you have to learn after you nidam ma'ariv, and after you can start eating and doing the things.
So I'm going to tell you something crazy, which I took great musad on. You ready for this? Navi, you ready? And we're going to end with this. There's in Navi by Yehoshua. Dad, you have to help me on this one, because I don't remember the whole thing. The Malach HaMavet comes to Yehoshua, right?
Not the Malach HaMavet,
Malach. Well, he wanted to kill him, so I'm going to assume.
He wanted to kill him.
He said he wanted to kill him.
He was ready.
Tom? He wanted to kill him, no?
He had his sword out.
Oh, what do you want that? I'm not going to kill you. So, but he says, but what is I don't remember the dialogue, but it was specifically because you stopped Bnei Yisrael from doing Pirah V'Rbiah for the war, and also you stopped them learning Torah because of the war, right? Huh?
Because he stopped learning. He told
that was the second thing. That was the second thing.
Yoshua asked him, "Are you
here for the first thing or the second thing?" I said, "I'm here now." Did I say
now?
Right.
The first thing is they didn't do the Korban Tamid in the morning.
Oh my gosh, wow, they didn't do
The
okay.
second one is that they're not learning. They're
Right.
not learning the halakha. So he said now.
I'm here for the one now, right? But he says, didn't I? Something like that. Like I said, I'm here for now.
Right.
Like the Malach was a little harif about it. Like
I said, I'm here for now.
I'm here for now.
Hashem, not
So-
for you or against you.
So what's the musa that I took? Do you understand the concept of going to war? What that means? The concept of going Bloomberg.
Sorry.
What does going to war mean? It's insane, right or wrong? The concept of going to war. You were in the army, weren't you?
Yeah,
You were an elite unit, weren't you?
very elite.
So then it's then
Can't even talk about it. So
that's amazing news. but imagine now you still have the hayub just like Shabbat, just like putting tefillin on every day that you have to learn when you come back to the base, because that's what the Malach Hashem was there to kill Yeshua for. So what does he say? So I took Musa. So I said to myself, so it doesn't matter how tired I am when I come home from work. It doesn't matter what's going on. Nothing is worse than war. Let me assure you. Right, Ari? Nothing's worse than war. We bruise like peaches, me and you. We can't handle these things. But no matter what we're dealing with, we still have the obligation to study Torah. And if we study Torah, then in the zechut of our learning the Zera Shimshon, you will see that inshallah after 120 years they're gonna say you were exactly what we wanted. Ata kadamta lechol maaseh bereshit. You did exactly what Borei Olam wanted. He wanted to create the goof in order to create all the distractions of the world, and you overcame all the distractions. And how? Because you understood, you were smart enough to learn Torah in order to acquire Yirat Shamayim. And everyone should have a beracha that emet in the zechut of our learning as Zera Shimshon. Everybody that we're praying for tonight in our kolel that goes on for another 4 hours. By the way, it's in Israel. By the way, it's 11:15 at night. We have another group, shift number 2, comes in at 12 midnight till 3 in the morning. Okay, heavy duty learning, and Baruch Hashem, a lot of people stay. Everybody should have a kasher Shabbat. A happy Shabbat, you should have Shalom Bayit, you should have Parnasah.
Amen.
Shmirat Halashon.
Shemirat HaLashon, Shemirat Enayim. Shemirat Enayim is very important, Shemirat HaLashon. And we should all be able to learn together until Mashiach b'mirah b'yameinu amen. רבי חנינא הקשה אומר עשה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות ישראל לפיכך כי בא להם תורה וזו שלמה אדוני חפש למעשה ויגדיל תורה ואדיר.
יתקדש מהרבה.
אמן.